Greetings, class. What I'd like to do right now is to go over another step in the writing process, and that is called research. And just know that research is part of academic writing. If you say something in an essay, if you say something like college tuition is expensive, you have to prove it with research. You have to show how much tuition costs, how much it's gone up. So research is a very, very important part of academic writing. And let's see. It seems like it should be easy to find research today because we live in the internet age. It seems like all we have to do is press a button and it should be there for us. However, unfortunately, it does take a lot of time to find research. And I know that when I write or when I do research, it takes forever to find research. And I wish there was a faster process. But like I said in the past, that's why it helps to start researching early. So if I click on the internet, one thing we have to be careful of when we do research is we want to be careful about the websites we use. I wouldn't use Wikipedia in an academic essay, and the reason why is anybody can get into Wikipedia and change anything at any time. For example, I just wrote this on Wikipedia and they published it. Now, they're going to take this down within an hour. They'll take it down by tonight. But if I'm researching right now and I find this and I include this in my paper, and they take it down later, one, my teacher won't be able to find it, and two, it's not true information. So I wouldn't. That's why a lot of teachers don't like Wikipedia. The reason why is there's no author. Anybody could write this. You could be 6 years old writing Wikipedia entries. And I mean, they do check it. They do have writers who work for Wikipedia. They have editors and things like that. But again, it's always changing. This little paragraph might not be there a year from now. So if your teacher goes to look for something, they try to find what you wrote, it might not be there. So I think that Wikipedia is actually a decent source, but I wouldn't use it for an academic essay. Sometimes you can go down to the bottom and you can find the pages, their citations. I think that's a good option, but in my opinion, there's just better places to go to. Another thing you want to be careful of is fake news. There's a lot of fake news on the internet. For example, this website is called buytigers.com. They say, we're the only ones selling tigers online, etc., etc. How much does it cost? It costs $13,000 to buy a tiger. I hate to break your heart, but this is a fake website. You cannot buy a tiger online. A guy who designs websites created this page to generate traffic. He wanted to show people that he can design a good website, so it's fake. And the issue is, if I was writing a paper, let's say on the Tiger King, and I'm using this as my source, I would get in trouble. My teacher would say, why are you using fake sources for a paper? So just be careful with what you use. You want to question everything. And I guess one way to tell if something's credible, one, look for the author. Is the author credible? If somebody's a doctor and they've been a doctor for 20 years or writing something medical, that gives them credibility. Also, the syndication on which it was published. If it's published in New York Times, Newsweek, well, Newsweek used to be more credible, but National Geographic, a nationally syndicated source, that makes it more credible than, let's say, your neighbor's blog. Not to say your neighbor's not credible, but they're not as credible as a published magazine. Another one to tell if it's credible would be the date it was published. If it was published 3 years ago, it's still relevant, but if it was published 50 years ago, it's not relevant anymore. It depends on your topic, obviously, but the date is part of it as well. And I think the best way to tell if something is credible is to look for congruency. If somebody says 50% and another author says 50% and another author says 50%, that's congruent. But if one author says 50% and the next author says 25%, then that's a major discrepancy. So I would check for that. And then, so the question is, where can you find good sources? For Grossmont, you can go to the library, the online library, and I'm going to show you where to find that. One, if you click on academics, click on it again. It's going. It's just moving slow. But if I click on this, and I scroll down to the library, and I click on this, it's going to take me here. And what I want to click on from here would be databases. The databases. And it's going to ask you to log in from your house. I logged in earlier to move quicker. One thing I like about this database is the all subject section. So for example, this will give you all the disciplines for college, in our college. So let's say you're in an astronomy class and you're writing a paper on astronomy. This is going to give you search engines just allotted to astronomy or science. Or let's say you're a business major or something like that. So if I'm in a business class, I can go here and it's going to give me search engines that'll take me straight to resources just for business. So that's a fast way to do it. I like that a lot. I think it could be very helpful. One general source would be EBSCO. I wouldn't go to EBSCO host books. The reason why, this is going to give you books. You guys are just writing papers, so you don't have a lot of time to read a book to do research. I wish we did. That would be awesome, but this one's going to give you shorter stories, journals, articles, things like this. So if I click on this, one thing that's always important, if I'm on this page and I scroll down, one thing I must always click on is full text. I must always click on that, otherwise I'm not going to get all of the information. I'm just going to get a summary of the source. And if I click on tigers in the space bar, tigers, or the search bar, it's going to give me a lot of sources. Here it gave me 700,000 sources. Now some of these are going to be good, some of these are not going to be as good. I could narrow down the source if I wanted to, but one of the things I like about this, I'd click on HTML full text if I wanted to read the full article, which I would if I'm doing research for a paper. But if I click on this, what I like about our database is this. Over on the side here, you can do several things. You could create a folder with all your research for your paper. You could save it. The other thing I like about it is you could do cite. And if I go to cite, it's going to cite the information for me. Now the very first one is Brazilian national standards. I don't want to click on this. I don't want to copy and paste this because this is Brazil. This is in alphabetic order. If I scroll down, to MLA, I can copy and paste this into my paper. Now I still need to check it. I still need to go through it to make sure everything's right, but this will speed up the process of doing research. Also, if you transferred to a four-year college, they like these databases. A lot of professors at other schools won't let you use random search engines like Yahoo or Google. They'll want you to go to a place like EBSCOhost or ProQuest, so I get comfortable using this. The last place I want to show you is not just Google, but it's called Google Scholar. And if I click on this, what it does, and I go to search, oh, there we go. If I click on Google Scholar here, what it does is it just reconverted Google to make it Google Scholar. So it gets rid of all the garbage, like buytigers.com, gets rid of all the garbage websites, and it gives me more credible research. And if I click on tigers, it's going to give me a lot of sources here for this topic. It will cite your sources. Google Scholar used to be better. Sometimes you have to pay for the sources, which I wouldn't do. I would just go to our library. Those are all free. But this is another source where you can get credible information. If I were you guys, I would start with the library. And just to know something about research, it does take time. Be careful with what you're using. And again, I hope this video helps. I have videos in the future where I'll go over MLA. Thanks for listening.